So welcome everybody to Dave's Live at 5. Here we are. Welcome everybody. Here we are to talk about monetizing your time. Your time is so important, and a lot of people don't talk about. I keep making a mess here, guys. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, here we are. Maybe I won't make this same mistake. So here we are, right? So to monetize your time is to take your time and actually make it make money for you more than it was making money for you before. So what's necessary in order to do that? Well, organization for mostly. It's what you want. What do you want today, tomorrow, and in the future, right? So it's how your day starts. It's all about ritual. How you go about your day is all about ritual, right? And it's a system that you set in your mind and body. It's also your daily process of going through the day. That's not really confusing. It really isn't, because what you do during the day is going to determine what your income is, what you get done, and how you get it done, and how deliberate you are about what you want to get done. Time blocking system. Look, I don't believe there's such a thing as time management. I believe time blocking is where it's at, right? You can, and also list building and making lists for yourself of things to get done, right? It's scheduling. These are non-negotiable time blocks. And honestly, any block you make should be non-negotiable, unless anytime it should be non-negotiable. You can even make goof off time blocks for all I care, right? But it's a time block that you're going to do what it is assigned to do. You're going to adjust as you need to go in these time blocks. And if anybody's interested, you can message me and I'll be glad to send you the simple spreadsheet that's all built out, ready to go for you to use to build these time blocks. I have different time blocks for prospecting, etc., right? But what we need to do is we need to look into the future to see what things are going to need to get done as we're doing certain projects. Now, maybe we do certain things the same way every week, and maybe it's a complete system that we do. Mondays we do this, Tuesdays we do that, Wednesdays we do this. That's what I kind of have set up for myself, right? And it's going to be set up on my time. And if I have it to change, I know where I need to adjust, right? So what we need to get done is going to depend on our projects, as well as what demands are going to be made on our time in the near future. And that also means appointments. It also means, buyers. It also means sellers. It means all different kinds of things. So you want to set up a great block schedule for that, right? Also, along the line, you want to make sure that you're doing anything and everything you can to make sure you're doing what you said you wanted to do, right? So you want to inspect what you expect of yourself before you make any changes to your ritual, to your time block system, to your system, because it's a checkup on yourself. It's like looking into the mirror or looking down, from upstairs, from a 30,000-foot view, to see exactly if you're doing what you want to do to achieve the monetary success you want to have. That's what monetizing this is all about. It's simply called being your own great boss. So when we talk about that and what you want to achieve, we want to talk about your goal. Now, this is not a goal setting session. This is talking about, you have to understand what your goal is, short and long term. And you want to take your goal and reverse engineer it, and that's how you get short and long-term goals. So what is it that you need to do to reach that longer term goal? So let's say that you've got a goal for the next 12 months. Well, what's your goal for quarters? Like, you can break it up into quarters. And since it's a 12-month year, we always say 12 months. What's your 12-month goal? And we do that because it's just simply easy to relate to. And we're going to break it in quarters. So when you have a goal, a 12-month goal, what are you going to do this quarter? What are you going to get done next quarter? Where do you want to be? So the quarter basically is what you want to achieve. So if you want to achieve 24 transactions, that means that you're going to do 6 transactions a quarter. Now, depending on what time of year you're starting this plan, is really going to determine where those things are going to be. I always say front load the 12 months so that you've got more than half of it done in 6 months, right? And then I also say front load each quarter and front load each week, right? So every week, let's break it down to the week now, right? So every week, you're going to have a goal that you're going to need to achieve in order to achieve the goal for the month, for the quarter, for the year. So every week, what I want you to do is I want you to start on day one and say, this is what I need to achieve this week. And as an aside, if you know what you're going to know what your goal is for the year or for the next 12 months, it's going to be easy to break that down as to what you need to achieve that week. So here's a hint and a really quick hack, right? The goal for the week, do your best to achieve it Monday or Tuesday. Set that goal, review the goal Sunday night, do your best to achieve it the first 2 days of the week. Because then the pressure is off and maybe you can achieve a little more. Or maybe you can spend a little extra time planning the next week or doing more content. So think about what your goal is. It might be a number. It might be a number of transactions. It's all relative. Once it's broken down into small pieces, it's easy to manage it. It's really easy. Remember, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So it's organization, decide, and choice. This is choice management. It's not time management. It's your job. Yep, it is. I don't care if you want to work 9 to 5 or 6 to 10, and that's 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can do whatever you want. You can work any hours you want to work. You want to work 7 to noon and then from 3 to 8? Great, you can do that. But set it up and be almost ritualistic about it. You cannot catch as catch can. You cannot do it when you want to. You've got to, this is a business. This is not, something you're doing for a hobby. This is like paying your bills. So you need to set it up as a job. Do you have an accountability partner? That'd be even better. Remember, when you decide to do something, you put everything else behind you and just go for that one thing. Remember, just think about it this way. If you go to a restaurant, you're going to decide what you're going to have for your dinner. And everything else you looked at that looked really good, or even the specials menu, you put behind you. You already killed off. That's what you're going to do when you decide. It's a discipline you have to have. Remember, I want you to remember this one phrase. The pain of discipline is much better than the feeling of regret. We just need to develop new habits, right? So let's talk about a daily schedule, a daily block schedule. Your morning ritual workout. What is that? This is all about being personal, right? Your morning ritual can be anything you want it to be. It's actually before you get started working. It could be reading. It could be working out. It should be working out. Some type of exercise every day. It's really good for you. It'll really get you rocking and rolling. Writing out your gratitudes, affirmations. Those are really good things to do. You figure out what you want to do. If you'd like to have a conversation on this, I'd be glad to help you out with that. Just go to talktodave.work. This is personal. This part of the day is all personal for you, right? Your daily list is really different than to-dos because to get done. Those are things you got to get done. It's non-negotiable, just like your blocks are non-negotiable. It's your day. Your day is going to be different from one day to the next because it just makes sense, right? If you're going to do your mornings, which is all lead generation, that's going to have to remain the same at least 5 days a week. But if you want to do it differently, here's a little clue. Maybe you don't do anything on Monday morning. Maybe you do lead gen Tuesday to Saturday instead of Monday to Friday. Maybe you change the times and see what works best for you. That's how you're going to be able to make the shift, right? Your morning ritual, as I talked about, your time frame's going to be somewhere around 5:30 to 7, 5:30 to 8. You're going to prospect, then you're going to follow up, then you're going to set up for the next day or set up appointments, and then showings and other things. You also need to have somewhere in there a flex block, because I know as real estate agents, you're going to do something that you shouldn't be doing during your prospecting time or during another block. And this flex block is going to allow you to say, okay, well, I screwed up. I called this attorney for this deal between 8 and 11 where I'm supposed to be prospecting. So I got to make up the 30 minutes. This is how you do it with a flex block. Time blocks, as we just talked about, we'll get to the flex in a second. These time blocks are prospecting, research, education, content creation, content calendar execution, email, social, follow-up, flex blocks. These are the types of blocks you can have. You can put anything in there that you want. You know, you can put a lunch block in there. You can put a goof off block in there if you want to, as I said before. However you want to set them up. But the whole point of this is these blocks are non-negotiable. It's what you do during the day. Look at it this way. If you had a 9-to-5 job, your objective, your goal, and your requirement would be to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You're not going to get there at 9 and start at 9:30 or clean up at 4:15 and leave at 5. No, you're going to get there before 9, be at your position, whatever you've got to do at 9 a.m. and start at that time, maybe even before. 5 o'clock, you finish, then you clean up. That's the whole point. A lot of us have lost this when we work for ourselves. We've got to be more of a bastard to ourselves than we would to anyone working for us. Because number one, if we're going to have others and we're going to build a team, we're going to bring in assistants or whatever, we need to be able that we've got the work ethic and we're willing to set an example. But first, the hardest thing in the world is to set an example for yourself. Look, time blocking plus the right mindset equals time set. Okay, the thought about this is really pretty simple, right? It's a discipline. The mindset is what you're building on in your morning ritual. And as you build on it, it's going to make you more determined and disciplined to be deliberate in what you're doing. The thought about this is really simple, as I just said. You want to accomplish the ideal of time blocking along with mindset. You've got the right mindset to get in there and say, okay, I'm the boss of this. I've got to get this done. That's where time set comes from. Your structure is completely determined by putting first things first, right? So we're going to do prospecting. And in the morning, this is the first thing, right? So it is actually income producing work, right? You've got the tools, you've got follow-up systems, you've got processes. You need to be aware that you're going to connect, which is going to make other people aware of you, to contact, which is going to make them more aware of you, to an appointment, to contract, to income. It's a process. It's a simple process, but it is not something that's going to be 1, 2, 3. You know that. The processes, and remember, a process is a systematic series of actions directed to an end, a sequence of interdependent procedures. This is all about setting yourself up for success with time. All right? Let's talk about time with leads. Sometimes you got now leads, sometimes you got not now leads. This is for your follow-up in the afternoon. This is not lead generating. You've got systems to use. You can use a system known as 10 Days of Pain. You can set up your own system. I'm going to contact them 3 times for the first 3 days, 2 times the next 2 days. You're going to include everything you can, but this is a process that you need to set up timeliness. And that's why this is in this slide deck, in this presentation, because you need to understand what everything entails. It's a sales process. Now, sometimes you're also going to have to recognize what type of lead you're looking at. If you're looking at a lead that's not ready yet, these might be the people that are not responding to you. So you want to be able to stay a little stealth with them. You're going to go a little bit of ways. Hopefully you get something back from them, and it's going to take some nurture. This is another way of looking at nurturing, right? You want them to opt into what you're doing, so you want to be extremely and overly relevant. So when you're not relevant, you're irrelevant, which means they want nothing to do with you, and they're going to be annoyed at you more than, oh, this is good stuff. So there's a process by which that can help you get rolling with what you're doing. It's called Whitley, right? It's a cutting-edge automated online real estate lead generation system, and it's going to help you nurture your clients, right? It's going to help you set up Facebook ads. It's going to help you to retarget. And this is where it's going to save you time as well. If you're interested in this process, go to gowhitley.com. Monetize time. Media is going to do this. Content, like, conversion. These are different ways of posting, right? You're going to build media to build a list. This is, if you do this all set up, if you know what you're doing all the time, you're going to work like a machine and be able to build your time and build lists and build all of the different things that you need to do. You're going to ask questions. You're going to give information. You're going to engage with people. This is a process. One of the things you're going to set up, and you're going to make sure that you've got it all down as to what you're going to do to be able to monetize your time, right? You're going to learn who you're communicating with, the relevant ones, the ones that haven't talked to you, what information you're giving out. You're going to talk to them one way or the other. Your prospecting for in the morning is going to be mostly for listings. In the afternoon is going to be follow-up for leads that are coming in from buyers for the most part, right? You need to direct your media accordingly. You need to be seen. Your media needs to be there. That's why content calendar, scheduling your content. That's what these time blocks are for. This is all about your time, folks. This is all about what you're doing for your time and understanding what you've got to do. You do not want to go to a time block and not know what you're going to do in it and have to figure it out. So by the time you're done figuring it out, oh, geez, the time's up. I can't get this done today. You failed. By doing that, you failed. There's a lot more on these slides than meets the eye. And I know there's a lot of stuff here, but it's really important for one to understand that all these things need to be set up. Now, you should set up a time block now in order to start doing that 1 hour a day until you've got it set. You want to go deep and not wide. And that is for everything that you're doing with your systems and processes to make sure that your time makes sense, right? So you want to make sure that you don't waste any time by putting information out there that doesn't work for you. So let's get a couple of things together. You want to aggregate this attention. And when you aggregate the attention and you put the attention together and what your systems are, it's going to allow you to save more time. You see, you need to ask more questions and have these questions ready. You can ask questions both in person, on the phone, and through social media. Try not to make statements. If you're making statements, it's also to grab attention online. You need to be non-negotiable with your time, right? So the important part we want to remember is that we want to make sure that we're looking at everything we're doing all the way back to our time blocks, what we're setting it up for. We want to make sure that we're following up with the right information, and we've got all this stuff set up. As I said, you should take a time block every day and make sure that you're looking at what you're doing. Do you understand what you need to be doing so your systems are set up? Once you're able to do this, you're going to be able to have the right structure, the right processes, the right systems so that you are able to be really non-negotiable with your time, but also be able to scale your business. Monetization of your time, therefore, is for you to grow. So look, anybody that's interested wants to get a little bit more information, please feel free and go to talkwithdave.work, and I'll be glad to get in everybody's calendar, and we should be real good right now with that.